Get up, these, not wasting, swallow my these. I stay these, I stay get up. These, not wasting, swallow my these. I stay these, I see foot. What's that? Can't tell, that hell drink, shot in hell, deep space shadow drink. Show me something I ain't seen before, mystery on that. That door juice, that electric, the book with the signs, somebody in that house. Get a no go. One time, we fell behind me, over my shoulder. Turn around, try to see, but it's nowhere. Noise, static on my blaster. I see footage, I stay naughty. I see footage, I see footage. I stay naughty, I see footage. I stay, I see footage. I stay naughty, I see footage. I stay, I see footage. I stay naughty, I see footage. I stay, I see footage. I stay naughty, I see footage. I stay, I see. Everybody's known where you think you're going and going nowhere. Satellite, handle that, feel that part. Who captures life? Who takes what's left? Who's next? On that next already, no more killer Cardi. Like I told you, don't touch me. What's up with it? I stay naughty, stimulation overloaded, can't for it. Desensitized by the man, some mousy shit. I see, I've seen it, I've been it, and the leader feels like jam. Noise, I'm moving in the clean shine and don't sleep till day, let's close my bird. I see footage, I stay naughty, I see footage, I stay, I see footage, I stay naughty, I see footage, I stay, I see footage, I stay naughty, I see footage, I stay, I see footage, I stay naughty, I see footage, I stay, I see. Get up, these, not wasting, swallow my these. I stay these, I stay get up, these, not wasting, swallow my these. I stay these, I see. I'm a cop of a 5 Glock on some kid who steps up. Fast was hard to grasp what even happened. You seen that hair blow off his shoulders in slow-mo. We won that, it's so cold. We won that, it's so cold. I see footage, I stay noise. Keep shoving so much, boy, real looseness seem like no bones in his skin. Noise, watch y'all hit the floor like this real floor. Gotta see that one more again. I stay listen and went over. Pedestrian in Brazil. Little tiger, boy soldier. Juicy came back and killed. See crazy shit, man, crazy shit. See crazy shit, man, crazy shit.
Got blood rush to my head, they hot like popping off the fucking block. Now clocking wristlet, watch been top off. Dragon volume blasting, bailing out my brain. Red light flash, dim stop I smash. Abraxas, hydroplane, massive. That's his fight for rain and madness. Massive mind and lace the ad with black catfish on the ways of stratus. Come right to fall that flying. Don't wait for me if I care about anything, anywhere. Losing myself, I get the stares when I'm looking at. Wasn't there, wasn't there, wasn't there, wasn't there.
Atomic penetration, rapid fire through your skull. Shot it on when taking it back to the days of trying to lose control. Swerving in a blaze of fire, racing through my bones. Oh shit, I'm feeling it. Take it on. Hell yeah, fuck yeah, I feel like killing it. Take it on. Alright, that's not what it's like to experience. Take it on. Out of the blue, into the bag, door coming through like fuck. What was that? I don't know, but it made me feel so heated. How we creeping out, showing you jazz. Shit from below, give a shit if you know, cause even if you did, bet you keep coming back. Back for more, need a man, yo, addicted to the heat, we make beats cash. Beat until it bleeds, to death each track, epileptic sees every head we crack. Like EPMD snapping necks as we tap energy from everything on and off the map. Oh shit, I'm feeling it. Check yo, hell yeah, fuck yeah, I feel like killing it. Check yo, alright, that's not what it's like to experience. Check yo. Shot down your throat like a keg of beer. Choke on the smoke, we in and exhale till the whole chamber is clear. Cause that's so fucking weird. Try to stain this atmosphere, but they can't cause it's way too shit. How to make a hater disappear. Take shit where it ain't never been. Fuck what you thought, could not comprehend. this shit if I fist your brain with a 10. 9, 8, 7, 666, 5, 4, tons. Criminal level, crook, lightning storm, not away, oh yeah, of course. And the picture big enough to fit what we
Good
think of
morning,
going
chat. How are you all doing today? Chat, I've decided I'm gonna only start writing VTuber diss songs. Good morning, Necro. That's right, I'm gonna start writing VTuber diss songs. Anyways, we still got a few seconds. Good morning, 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 good morning. Oh my lovely, 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 lovelies. How's everybody doing today? Oh no, I forgot to do the thing again. How was my sleep? It was, wow, I slept, I slept so much. It was insane. For those of you who haven't heard the story, I want to explain to y'all what happened to me yesterday, okay? So, my apartment complex came into my apartment without telling me, right? And, they apparently called me in the middle of the day, but my place is a disaster right now, and I didn't want anybody in there, and I would have rather, I had a chance to make things nicer. And yeah, because apparently there was an emergency leak underneath my apartment. So they broke into my apartment and kind of searched everything. And I only found out because they had moved a package. And so obviously stressed me out. So I took the day off streaming. And I decided I'm going to lay down and then for an hour and I'm going to wake up and I'm going to clean up, okay? Laid down around 4 because, I already canceled stream and I woke up at 8 and I'm like, oh my God, it's 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm late. I can't believe my alarm clock didn't go off. I missed stream. I'm so upset at my stream. Wait a second. I'm so late for work. I'm supposed to start work at 5:30 and it's 8 now. So I messaged my boss, hey boss, I'm so sorry. I think the power went out. My alarm clock is broken. Do you want me to drive into work? Do you want me to work from home? What do you want me to do? And no response. So I text him and I call him up. I'm like, hey, yo, boss, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean my alarm clock was broken. It's what do you want me to do? I'm just so out of it right now. I'm not sure exactly what I should do. And he's like, okay, well, since it's, it's 8:30 p.m. And I go, a.m. He's like, no. I'm like, what do you mean, no? He goes, it's Monday, 8:30 p.m. Don't go into work. Go back to sleep and I'll see you tomorrow. And I'm like, oh. I had slept 4 hours, not significantly more than 4 hours. Yeah, no, Vanya, I gave you a panic attack for something different, but I'll explain that in a sec. So, I ended up actually getting up and being because I needed to go to my car to get my computer anyways. I work at home in the morning and then I have to drive into work. I just got up, got in my car, drove to the gas station, put gas in it, bought myself some breakfast for this morning, put gas in my car, got myself a big soda, and then just went back to bed. And so I've had so much sleep and I feel so good for once. I'm still tired. I'm always tired, but at least things are a little bit better right now. And Vanya, the reason I gave you a panic attack was I got my completed demo back, and I wanted you to take a listen to it, and that's why I was like, hey, are you up? So I could send it to you, and I could get your opinion on it. But you were asleep, so I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, I'm a lot more awake. Anyways, yeah. What game are we playing? Resident Evil 4, yeah. But so yeah, I think sometime this week I want to do we're gonna do a premiere of my Demo reel? My voice acting demo reel? Shit, sorry. My brain is so slow this morning. And that way I can get you all to hype up my demo reel on Twitter and we can see how far we can get it to go. I want to see if I can get some traction on it. But I also realized that I need to make a video because you know who doesn't allow you to upload audios anymore? Twitter. I need to make a little video for it. I might like find characters that I can put into the video and be like, yo, these are these characters. Wait a second, I could get Pink to draw me characters. I wonder if Pink could draw me characters. Chat, do you think Pink could draw me characters? Chat, we need it. Remind me to DM Pink. Somebody wake up Pink. Somebody wake up Pink right now. Oh, that's not the right screen. I'm not doing an Amprego. No, Vanya. Mr. Krabs. I have an idea. Oh, hello. Hi, Necro. Vanya. Thank you for getting first, even though you got it third. Thank you, Lala, getting second, which was actually first. And Cat Lover, thank you for getting third, which was actually second. GG's, everybody all around. And thank you for the hydrate. Good morning, Lilith Queen. Oh yeah, let me do a little bit of a run through here. Good morning, Cat Lover. I hope you're doing fantastic. Good morning, Lala, the little alien. Good morning, Vonyers. Good morning, Lilith. Good morning, Echo. Good morning, Necro. Error, how are you doing? Good morning, Ari. Good morning, Foxy. And good morning, all you incredible people. Y'all are wonderful. And yeah. I've seen footage. And good morning, Lilith38. To be fair, no, Vanya, you know I love you. Shut up. To be fair, I did start stream, then stop stream, then start it again. I wasn't sure if people would actually notice that, and I wasn't sure if any of the commands got broken. This morning we were playing the Resident Evil, because I woke up dreaming about Leon, by the way. I woke up dreaming of Leon S. Kennedy. I think because I went to sleep remembering like, oh, I'm excited. I gotta play Resident Evil in the morning. I'm so excited to shoot something. And so I woke up dreaming of Leon.
Their defenses are no joke. That's gotta be their sanctuary. Ashley.
Not really. I just woke up dreaming of a hot man, so you know. Good morning, Mitchie. Thank you for waking me up, Mitchie. Mitchie, you're the best. Mitchie came into my call and was like, hey, yo, dog man, you awake?
Hello, stranger.
Then they called me a slur. Can you believe it, chat?
What can I do you for?
They called me a Just kidding. They didn't call me a slur.
Molding a weapon to suit your specific needs. Oh, it's a thing of beauty, isn't it?
Wait, I updated. Okay. I swear to God, I update the category every single day, and it doesn't update. It doesn't update. So I appreciate you updating my category. I'm kidding. They didn't call me a slur. Here, let me check. Let me make sure it actually changed. I do. It is an 18+ Discord. If you hit !point Discord, you can see it. All right, it did change. Sweet. What are we doing? All right, okay.
Not seeing anything you like?
Not
stranger?
particularly.
Got a selection of good things on sale.
Y'all, I'm so upset. There's a puzzle at the beginning of this game that I missed that I'll never get to use.
No difference. The price, well, that's our choice to make.
I want to use this key so badly.
Next time, buy something, eh?
I want to know what's behind the puzzle, but I didn't think about it until later. Don't oh no me. Don't womp womp me. So mean to me. Well, fuck. Ow! Bro! I'm so glad you changed the category, Vonyers.
What was that? Sorry.
Oh, I'll give you perms. Hey! Hey! Look at this guy. Speaking of chat, by the way, we're going to have mod applications that are going to be occurring end of the month. I think especially since right now we have only one mod. And we have 2 mods, technically. 3 mods. We have 3 mods, technically. One's a temporary mod. Oh, shoot. We will have mod applications if you would like to help support me in a more, you know, official setting. Y'all have that chance come up very soon. Oh, Jesus. No, Vanya, you're not a temporary mod. God damn it. God damn it. What the fuck? Okay, so hear me out. I had the one mod. I had Vanya. Vanya was always definitely going to be a mod. And then Pinky offered to help out. So then I had 2 mods, but I wasn't expecting to have 2 mods. The expectation was always that Vanya would come on. Don't judge me, little alien. And then Vanya needed to drop off and recommended Dar for a temporary mod, and I'm like, oh yeah. So, oh, shoot. That's why. It makes sense, okay? Yeah. Yeah, don't judge me. Don't be like, oh, Eugene's an idiot. I know I am an idiot, but hey, you're not supposed to call me that to my face. You're supposed to be like, Gene is so pretty and cool and awesome and has never made a mistake in his entire life. I know. I'm not saying Dar's a bad mod. I don't think Dar is a bad mod. I just know Dar has his own shit going on, and I know the lovely, lovely Vonyers shows up and is cool and is epic. Hey, yo, don't lie to me. I mean, do lie to me. But make it not lies, make it truths. No, chat's saying tell me lies. And I'm like, don't lie to me, just make them not lies. Oh, shoot. Good morning, Kitten Belly. How you doing this morning? Did you sleep okay? Oh my god. Oh shit, he's still alive.
Next.
I ain't calling you a truther. I'm not calling you a liar. I'm not calling you a liar either. You didn't go to sleep then. Get some sleep. Take some rest. I've seen footage. Do 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 do. Oh shit. Dick some rest? I did not say dick some rest. Hi, keeper. How many rests? 20 rest. Have sleeps. Sleeps forever, chat. Do not sleep forever. No deaths, keeper. I've never died in my entire life. Not once. Good morning, love. How you doing, love Mac? Oh shit.
What can I say? I never miss.
Health.
Not bad at all.
I did not call you fat. All right. Good night, Lilith. You sleep well, okay? Y'all are so mean to me. That's horrifying. Oh no! Oh no! No, not the helicopter! Stop endorsing things against me. Get some sleep, Ken. Thank you for coming by. I missed. I am reborn. Shoot, 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 shoot. There it is.
You're serious.
Ah, damn it. Damn it. I laugh like a villain. What do you mean I laugh like a villain? Ah. Stop getting hurt. No, no, no. Inventory. No. Chat, I didn't die. No, that's you died. Chat, you're seeing things. You just don't L me. I just woke up, Vanya. You're supposed to be nice to me. Hi, Tanya. Welcome, welcome, welcome. What is that? Don't do an upside down L. What? Alright, I got this. Woo! It didn't work. We're getting alcohol poisoning tonight. Chat. Brov. All right, let's make some ammo. 1 second, we're gonna make a little bit of a rifle ammo. And then we're gonna make some submachine gun ammo. And then we're gonna make the best ammo of all ammo. None, because I have no more gunpowder. Oh no. Do not, no community night alcohol poisoning. No community night alcohol poisoning, chat. Chat, me encouraging alcohol poisoning is against TOS. Which I think is kind of funny. You can't excessively drink. Ah. Ow. Oh my god. Okay, move. Climb. Oh, Jesus. Oh, okay. Clean your system. What are you cleaning your system of? I am doing amazing. Riding in my car right after a beer. Hey, that bump is shaped like a deer. Do I know? Alright. Riding in my car right after a... I know, if only I did have a grenade, but I have no grenade. Oh god, out of ammo. Well, look, Tanya. Fight me. How about that? What do you think about that? What do you think about fighting me, huh? 1v1 me IRL, Tanya. Meet me. If only I had some, you know, sniping rounds. Why does it feel so hot right now? Because I'm here, chat. Ow. It always feels hot when I'm here. L pickup line, L Riz. New. You're so mean to me, chat. Very loud, incorrect. Very loud, incorrect buzzer. Chat, I'm gonna make it so y'all can get. I'm gonna add that sound. I'm adding that sound. Oh, you're taking off your short for me, huh? I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm adding a very loud, incorrect buzzer to stream. Hey now. Hey now, you're a rock star. Get your game on, go play. Hey now, you're an all-star. Get the show on, get paid. All that glitters is gold. Only shooting stars break the mold. It's a cool place, and they say it gets colder. You're bundled up now, wait till you get older. But the radio man begs to differ, judging by the hole in my satellite picture. The ice we skate is getting pretty thin. Water's getting warm, so you might as well swim. Where am I going? Thank you for the follow, Kinkies with 3 Z's. Chat, make sure you pronounce all the Z's, or else the name's incorrect. How you doing this morning? I'm so lost. Oh God, he's still there. Ow. Ow. Stay dead. Good boy. Hey, thank you for the alert, Kendra. Sleep well, sleep well, sleep well. The schlong dog? I forgot about that. Yeah. For those of you wondering about the schlong dog, there's a website that lets you compare, you know, food from football matches. And wait, was that not intentional, Vanya? I thought you intentionally did that. I thought that was a bit. I thought that was a bit. I'm so lost. Wait 1 second. So wait, am I just supposed to like get above the guy and shoot him? Is that what's happening here? I'm so confused. I'm so confused. Oh, yeah, I am. Come on, come on. Rotate, 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 rotate. Please rotate, rotate further. Oh my God, come on. Hi, Isabella. How you doing? I'm good. Oh.
Mike, all clear. Thanks, buddy. All right.
How you doing, Isabella? How's everybody doing? Oh, by football I meant soccer. They're footy matches. We do? Well, that's not fair. You know about any soccer? Oh, well, you know. Sucks. Oh, Jesus. Little alien, have you gotten any sleep yet? Have you gone to bed? By the way, chat, if you haven't taken your meds yet, please take your meds, eat some food, wake up, wake up, wake up. Or go to bed. I don't hate chat. Exactly, it's 3 a.m. Sleep. Oh, did you make me a mini apple pie? You need sleep. Everybody needs sleep all the time. I've seen footage. I've seen dun dun dun. Owie. Dodge. 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 There we go. No, I don't. I want you to stay. I don't want anybody to ever leave. Ow. Schlong dog launch code. Schlong dog launch code. Launch the schlong dog. It was birthed. There we go. This is a very calm and relaxing way to wake up, isn't it? Why are you telling me to jump? Yes, yes it is, Vanya. Please don't make that joke. Alright. Sleep schedule change that much, huge? I mean, I'm trying. I'm apparently changing Vanya's. There we are. There we are. Yay! Oh, don't you transform on me, bastard. There we go. That's fair. Good morning, Azalea. How you doing today? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? I hope you're doing well. Everyone's always sleepy. Thank you for the follow, Salmatic. How you doing? Oh, Jesus! Yo, that's a hog, man. Ooh, he's about to try to kill me. Okay, I got this. I got this. I got this. Oh, wait a second. Hey, it's a raid! Hello, raiders! Wow, I'm sorry. I forgot my alerts. Give me a second. Let me fix my alerts. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Hello, raiders! How's everybody doing? Let's see what's going on. You said beat RE2 and now rating in for RE4. Beat RE2 and now rating in for RE4. Beat RE2 and now rating for... Hey, guys, what were you doing? What were you playing? Did you play RE2? Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you so much for the raid. How you doing? Milk Team. Milk Team? Milk Tame? I don't know how to pronounce your last name. But I got the milk part right. I like the milk part. Ow. 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 Okay. Well. Guys, I swear to God, I'm good at the game. Uno. How was Uno? Did you beat Uno? Did you win Uno? I believe in Uno. Milk Team May. Oh! Milk Tea May. Milk Tea! Give me a second. I get it now. I love your name. I love your name. Hi. Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name's Lucky Gene. I'm a gambler, a writer, a flirt, and I hope you all have a fantastic time. If you need to raid and run, please feel free to do so. If you want to hang out, please feel free to do so. And if you hate me, welcome to the club. I mean, like, yeah, you're in good company. How do you milk tea? I mean, you ask it nicely. Oh, the game. Oh, God. Well, we're just gonna hide back here for a little bit. I have a cup. Do you have a cup of milk tea right now? How's RE4 going? Good! I'm having a lot of fun. I'm so glad I didn't decide to play this on a harder difficulty, because I would have been awful at it. But it is my first time actually playing the game. I played a very little bit of it when I was young, when I was an itty-bitty child. And I'm way past the part I was as a child, so it's lovely getting to play a game that, you know, I would have missed completely if I hadn't had it now. Kiss for chat. Come here, Zelia. Mwah. But there we go. Nice. Clara. I don't think I ever did the Clara. I might need to go back and play it. You're a little out of it? Oh, me too, me too. Is it early for you, Lurk? What Sigma? I'm tired. Good night, gamers and alphas. Nice, nice, nice. Claria? The E is silent. The E is silent. Really? I'll play it. I definitely will. I definitely will. By you, I mean Jin. Ah! Well, I definitely suggest you do this one if you haven't done this one. The remake, it's a lot of fun. And if, yeah, go get some sleep. Go get some sleep, Milk. Milk tea. Milk tea May. May, I guess. Oh, Bella Ciao. You haven't heard Bella Ciao in a while? One fine morning, I was awakened. Bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. I was awakened. Minus 4, you won't allow it. Vibes. Dodged. Nope. Driving in my car right after a beer. Hey, that bump is shaped like a deer. DUI. Now how about you? Climb the ladder, Leon, my dear sir. Oh, fuck. Sir! No! Hello. Ah! Thank you. By the way, chat, my voice acting demo reel is going to be dropping this week. Oh, Jesus! Don't. Oh my god. This is so difficult. We got this, chat. We got this. Amazing. We're going to make it through this. This is where all my deaths are going to be. I don't think I have enough ammo. I need more ammo is what I need. Okay. Second death while you're here. I know, right? I know, right? Yeah, uh-huh. Okay. Shotgun shells. Yeah, we've had quite a few deaths today. Skill issue. Rude. You're so mean to me. Thank you for the follow, Koishi and Sator. I don't know how to say half the people's names here. All of your names are really cool. I hope you understand your names are very cool, and I'm sorry I can't pronounce them, because I am just a dummy. 3 shots of vodka. Stop drinking when I die. You're going to kill yourself. Do not drink when I die. Just be better. I'm trying to, chat. Ah. Oh, jeez, okay. Chat, I have a theory. I have a theory. I have a theory. Hopefully it'll work. My theory failed. Motherfucking. I just got my head ripped off. Oh, boy. The weapons are okay. Very loud and quick, father. Alright, chat, I have a better idea. I have a better idea. So we're just gonna speed through this, get on one of those turrets, and hope that it works. Legs, legs, death. Amazing. Done. Easy, 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 easy claps. Okay. Crafting ammo, crafting ammo, crafting ammo, crafting ammo. Done. Perfect. Amazing. Look how good I am at this game so far. Grab this. Bam. Panic, panic, reload, panic, fire, shoot, shoot, no, no! Okay, panic more, panic more, panic more, panic more. Oh, I got this, I got this, I got this. It's fine, it's fine.
I knew it.
Heal. Yes. Grenade equipped. Leon, throw further. Damn it! Leon, throw further. Gene got swagger of a beat-up white boy. I do have the swagger of a beat-up white boy. You're very right on that one. Okay, we're doing it. Ah! Just getting bullied in a corner. Wait, we might make it, we might make it, we might make it. This might actually work now. Wait a second. I think I got it. Ow, shh. I deserve to be bullied. What did I do to be? What do I deserve to be bullied for? What did I ever do? Okay. Can I make? No, I cannot. Here we go. Let me exist for 3 seconds, please. There we go. Have a good eep. Have a good eep, Milk Tea. Thank you so much for the raid. I really appreciate you. No, 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 no. I am powering through this one. You can't stop me. Aha. Oh, there's no way. Chat. Chat, we did it. Oh, I'm so proud of all of you. You helped me with this one. You succeeded. You made this happen. Mm-hmm.
Thanks.
Oh, this is...
Get out of here. Drinks are on me. I know a good bar.
I'm getting action. No, no, don't death flag me. Don't death flag me. Get in the helicopter. Everything's gonna be fine. It's gonna be wonderful. We're gonna go to a bar after this.
Nice and slow.
Here we go. You ready? There it is. Man, I should have seen it coming. That's kind of badass, though. That's kind of badass, though.
I'll make sure you're the next to go, Sadler.
Hi, Cookie. How you doing today? No, 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 no. Ow. I'm doing great. This morning's a good morning, I think. Me thinks today is good. Stevie, get some eeps. Eep. Go to bed. Bye. Leave right now. Kicking you out. Ban them. Ban them right? No, I'm kidding. Don't ban Cookie. Not yet. Oh, God damn it, Keeper. Yeah, happy. Then go to bed. Go eep.
What the?
Oh, aha.
Not one of these again.
You can't fool me. Oh, here you go. Mwah. Kiss. I gave you your kiss. It was shipping delayed, okay? Oh my God! No, not the coffee. Oh. All right. Is that a boy I smell? Yes, I smell it. Boy smell. I smell a boy. What is a boy doing here? Oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? There's a boy here. I'm freaking out so much. Calm down and take a nice, deep breath. It smells so good. I love boy smell so much. It makes me feel so amazing. I'm getting tingles all over from the delicious boy scent. It's driving me boy crazy. There you go. There's your fucking thing. Just whatever you, wow. I hope you, God, hi Dar. Hi. You saw nothing. Nothing happened. Dar, leave. Dar, go. You don't need to see the star. I'm kidding, Dar. Do stay, but also... you... 1, 2, 3. Oh, I missed. No, don't hit me. I didn't forget about Daw. Don't do it, bastard. Fucking hell. Well, that was my... Oh, fuck. Come on. Oop, there it is. Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing today, by the way? Everybody doing good? Everybody having a good, lovely morning? I hope it's as good as my morning. It's not, because my morning's always better, because it's my morning. I hope you understand that. Snake! You heard it here, chat. The little alien likes it spicy. Hey, cookies for breakfast. I'm living large. Yes, you are. I knew it. There you are, you bastard. Oh my god, really? I'm increasing the cost. I am increasing the cost. I hope you know this. I'm officially increasing the cost. Stop transforming. Ow! Where'd he go? Nuzzles pounces on you. Ooh, you're so warm. Couldn't help but notice your bulge from across the floor. Nuzzles your necky wecky mur hee hee. Unzips your baggy ass pants up. Refund. I'm not saying musky. I'm not saying those words. Just fucking refund it. Refund it. I'm not doing it. Oh, there's my phone. I would rather boy smell. I'm increasing the cost. The price is going up. He likes boy smell. God damn it, guys. God damn it. I'm going back to sleep, chat. This is going back to an ASMR stream. Get onto there, Leon. I should just do every stream an ASMR stream. I would rather boy smell. Shut you. Okay. Prepare the knife. There we go. Gun has been maxed out. I ain't footage.
Dazzled, are you? I'll cross
Right.
come back anytime.
Voicemail maxing. Shut up. I've seen footage. Oh, I think we can make this one, actually. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, 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 boop. And then we're gonna do 2 reds. Oh my. Okay, yeah, give me a second, chat. I gotta increase the price of this real quick. So, okay, where is it? 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 I have too many redeems that aren't activated. How much is it? How much is it currently? $1,500. Okay. 1,500. Boom. Grr, woof, master hasn't let me out of my cage yet. Woof, twirls around and lays down with a humph. I was such a good boy today too, woof. Ain't I a good puppy, chat? Please let me out, wags my tails and gives a pretty pleading eyes. There you go. There. Look, I'm gonna make you broke. If you want me to say long texts, then, you know, there you go. What the fuck is Killer 7? I want Killer 7. No!
My wares are in tip-top shape.
Man, I want this gun. I should have gotten this gun. Wait, is this a pistol? Is this a pistol? Or is this a... What kind of gun is this? Magnum? Oh, never mind.
Hard times, mate.
AK won't stop you from ruining my dignity. You think I have dignity? Girly Pop, I'm a streamer. Oh, by the way, I think it's actually a 23-day streak, so let's fix that real quick. There ain't nothing giving me dignity. Speaking of Killer 7, chat, guess what we're gonna be playing? We're playing Killer 7 this week. I'm excited. We're ready. Oh shit. Stop it, stop. I missed, damn it. That's an A at least. It's an A at least. I think I have enough coins for another one. Sorry for the ad break, everybody. Yeah, every man has to have limits, right? What's the post? 40% off resources. Motherfuckers. Robin, is that why you just have it on
What can I
my brain's off. You know what, chat? I'm not speaking anymore.
next time?
Silent stream for the rest of the stream, guys.
Bye. Welcome.
Parents got you gooning to fun, boys? Goon more?
Valuable.
If I know.
I'll buy it at a high price. What you see is what I
Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
will have pleasant travels.
I have to speak. Oh, god damn it. Eclipse, eclipse, eclipse. You wonderful little bean. I hope you know I do enjoy your... Oh, God, enjoy your presence here. And I'm really, really appreciative, even when you do redeem praise when I said I'm not going to talk. You are a wonderful person. And I hope you only have the best things happening to you because you absolutely deserve it. You've earned it. Thank you so much for the redeem. No, Jesus.
One
Driving in my car right after a beer. Hey, that bumper shaped like a deer. Hey, Vanya, can you paste all those lyrics for me? I need the whole song. Thank you, honey. I appreciate it. This part is fucking... Oh, Jesus, okay. I've not heard the Kanye version, but I do know what you're talking about. I do know of it. Oh, you would make me. You would send me a link that I would have to click. Oh, Jesus. All right. So fucking intense.
present for you.
There we go. Motherfucker. God damn it. Oh, Jesus. Hi, Pink Moth Invasion. Hello, 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 Kinky Man. What is up, what is up, what is up? Chat, go check out Kinky Man. Kinky Man's a fantastic, fantastic, fantastic streamer. Love them so very, very, very much. They make fantastic content. They're great, they're great, they're great. Please, 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 please go check them out right now. Follow them if you're not following them already. You should be. Hi, Raiders from Kinky Meat's stream. I'm panicking, but okay, I think we chilled. I think Wait, chill. Where's ASMR? There's no ASMR today. Today is a shooty gamey. The stream says fucking the zombie game. Does it not? Does the game not say the fucking zombie? It should say the fucking zombie game. Vanya, do you see what I mean, Vanya? I literally just made this Resident Evil 4. It just said Resident Evil. Oh, my tags say ASMR. Well, yes, my tags always say ASMR because I have an ASMR voice. And the tags are also to hint at the content that I make. The game is ASMR. No. What? No, it says Resident Evil 4. Are you fucking no, I changed nothing. It says Resident Evil 4 on my side. I did not reset it. It keeps going back. What the fuck? What the fuck, Twitch? And now it says it. Oh my god. Well, I'm sorry. I am sorry. I am sorry. I am doing Resident Evil 4. I apologize if you're here for ASMR. Near replicant. Nice. Oh, I'm glad. Yes, it is not ASMR. I appreciate it. I've just... Oh, for fuck's sake. How much for it? I have no idea. I'm just going to kill myself. I'm just going to kill myself. It's okay, chat. I'm going to murder myself in this game, and it's going to be great. Okay. God, I changed. It's been like the third or fourth time that I've had to change it back. It's Twitch. Twitch doesn't let me do anything except ASMR. In the game, I would not do it IRL. I care about you all too much. Yeah. That's what I probably need to start doing. I need to change it here like 10 times and then check the Twitch, the Twitter. I give up. I give up. I give up. But yes, go check out Kinky Meat. Lovely streamer. They're great. They're wonderful. They make good content. You should look at them and look at them with your eyes and follow them and check them out whenever they're live. Daddy Bezos likes my voice. Daddy Bezos can suck it. Daddy Bezos can also give me his billions of dollars. I will take them and spend them better than he does. Than he will ever. I'm just saying, if I was married to Bezos, I would have also divorced him. Hey, thank you for the follow. Thank you. What the fuck? What am I doing? Driving in my car right after a beer. Hey, that bump is shaped like a deer. DUI. Now how about you die? I'll drive 100 miles an hour. Little did you know I'm filled up on gas. I'ma get your fountain making ass. Okay, we're good. We're good. I figured it out. Yes. Well, no. All right. All right. They aren't even right. There's captions? I have captions? What do you mean captions? My dear partisan, I will awaken. La da 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 da. I don't trust this place, chat. A mind game, Ascend 9ware. Yes, a mind game, Ascend 9ware. We're going to do crafting. We're gonna make some herbs. We're gonna make some potions. Do. Oh no, that's not what I wanted to make. And we're gonna mix this. And now we're gonna make some more bullets. I'm gonna make some shotgun shells. Yay, 8 shells. And now we're gonna make some handgun bullets. Alright, Chet, I think I'm ready. I'm just gonna start. I'm gonna read the captions. To read the captions, to read the captions, to read the captions, to read the captions, okay?
You have come, my child.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want?
Bonnie's is about to cook. Do it, I believe in you.
Share this gift with as many as possible. A humble wish, don't you think? You see, we are all connected through the holy body. And now your flesh and bone, your very thoughts, are already one with us.
Bullshit.
They are funny though.
Why do you reject serenity when you need only accept the sacred gift? Like she did.
Oh. Oh no.
Ah, yes, the time has come for this lamb to join our covenant.
Yes, chat.
All blessings
We are the lamb. Or something, I don't know, I wasn't paying attention.
Exalt all and let it be.
I should learn the Phantom of the Opera. Hey yo. Hey yo. Hey yo!
Go!
God, she's gorgeous. My wife. He did a little pee-pee on the floor, chap. He just did a little pee-pee on the floor. Well, you know, he did a little pee-pee on the floor through his hand, chat. It's gross. Can you imagine pee-peeing on the floor with your hand? Stop vibrating. Stop vibrating phone. Oh.
Laboratory B. Looks like it's this way.
Oh, by the way, we have the Mpreg emote now, chat. If you've ever wanted to see me Mpregged, well, you know, there's the option. Mm-hmm. Kinky, are you still here? No, that's fine. I had an idea. Dude, God, why are you spamming the Mpreg emote? But yes. We did give a shout out to Kinky, right? Thank you for the follow, Grey Hat Games. Are you a Grey Hat... I tried. Are you a Grey Hat hacker? Hi, Grey Hat Games. How you doing? Welcome. It's so dark. I'm confused. What do you support again, Ari? Like Gandalf, yes. It's Grey Hat the Games. There's worse impressions to BH. Oh, good morning, Andre. How you doing? Leon, please stand. Don't worry. Grey Hat's gonna fall off of a cliff and come back as White Hat the Games. Can you imagine if I had sold that key? Oh, I got followed by Uska Pipi. Hi, Uska Pipi. I didn't notice you followed. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah. Oh, I didn't realize Chubb streamed. Vanya, I believe you.
No way. Like I told you, I'm gonna get you home safe.
What kind of stuff does Chubb stream? Bag of chips. A Big Mac I wouldn't eat.
Here goes nothing.
Weed? Weed? Yeah, that's fair. I already have weed too. Makes it worse. Would you share the weed? I mean, if you are of legal age in a state that is legal, yeah. I was kidding. I would not Sylvania for a Big Mac. And now we're dead. We're dead, chat. We're dead forever. No, Mitch, you can't buy Vanya. They're mine. Ow. Ow, what the... Huh? Sorry, chat. I just realized my chest hurts. Not like in like my heart is about to explode way, but in a like my, you know the bone in the center of your chest? Like that it's like I bruised it or something. Huh. Interesting. Sternum. The sternum. Look at you being smart. It hurts. Thank you, Grey Hat. Grey Hat, I also did a demo reel for voice acting. If you want to hear that, it'll be coming up very, very soon, like later this week. Probably Friday.
I thought you were gonna die.
Yeah, unpin that. I'm not reading that.
Yeah, I did this.
I refuse to read that. Oh, ow. I was like, chat, I've been talking and my chest has been hurting a little bit. I'm like, oh no, I wonder if my lungs are damaged. Because that would really, really suck. Nope, apparently it's my sternum. It's the muscles in my chest moving that's damaging my sternum, or moving my sternum, so you know. Why was nobody gonna tell me the game is slightly off center? No one was gonna tell me the game was slightly off center. Swaggerific.
All of this.
Chat, I got this. I can fix it. I can fix it, chat. Chat, I can fix it. Chat.
Yeah, we're alive. Thanks to him.
Yeah, Grey Hat, why didn't you come into my stream immediately notice that my fucking thing was broken and be like, hey, yo, streamer that I just met, your shit's scuffed. Oh my god, they look so happy. Rude! Little alien, how fucking dare you? Says through gritted teeth, we were distracted by your beauty. Yes, that's what was happening here. God, don't pin it. Don't pin my mockery. Why do you bully me? The Amber, the sample, blah, 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 blah. I refuse to read. Chad, if you want to read, you can go back and rewatch that.
Looting the Umbrella Labs.
don't you, you're not allowed, Vanya, you're only allowed to leave to go to the bathroom and then you have to come back. I hope you know that. Reading.
Sorry. Like I said, we're a team.
You're getting good at that.
Right?
Wait, what is she doing? Oh, she put on a ladder for us. Thank you. Bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, 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 da 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 da, la da 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 da. Bye, Voniers. We gotta deputize a new mod. Chad, who wants to be a temporary mod? Also, where's Shark Boy? That's the only reason. Well, Shark Boy is only here on Sundays, but Shark Boy is gonna be here every Sunday morning. Dispatch the Metal Gear.
Oh, I'm sure she's fine. She's not the type to roll over.
La da 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 da. Yeah, you're fine, girlie. I nailed that shot. Chat, and you say I'm not a gamer. Chat, you constantly call me horrible, horrible names because I'm not a gamer. Alright, chat, anybody but Little Alien want to be mod? Deep beneath the castle grounds I have found my faith. Oh, behold the divine vestiges left upon this world. It all begins here. Oh, is Darrow still here? Darrow hasn't talked. I didn't know Darrow was still here. Praise be to the holy insect. I guess I'm not gonna read any more of that. I'm lazy. Well, we have Dar. We're fine. I don't need anybody else. Dar's top tier. Little Sharky's the best. I'm so lost, chat. What am I doing? Help me, I broke about my insides. Oh, Mitchie, you going to bed? Schlaf gut, Mitchie, schlaf gut. Help me, it's your sex I can smell. Help me, the only thing that works for me. Help me get away from myself. I wanna you like an animal. I wanna feel you from the inside. I wanna you like an animal. Where am I going? Your whole existence is flawed. You get me closer to God. That is a song I want to cover eventually. There you go. Take a shot, chat. Take a shot. It's a song I'm going to cover. Where? Okay, is this? No, that's not the right way. Why did I go up there? Help me, the only thing that works for me. Help me become somebody else. I wanna fucking like an animal. Time is a construct. Bleepus Gleepus. I am so lost, I am so lost, I am so lost. Do 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 do. Yeah. Isn't that another song, Person I've Become? Well, Person I've Become? Bet. You know what? I'm doing it. Chat, the next song I'm covering, which, God, it's going to be hard to hit, because he's a higher range than I am. He's a smaller guy. I can try to do it in my registry, but I think I'd have to, like, drop the entire song down a bit to get in my registry. I don't know, Ashley. You lead the way. Help me, I'm broke upon my insides. Help me, it's your sex I can smell. Help me, the only thing that works for me. Can I send you another paragraph full of compliments? Please, I'd love a paragraph of compliments. Where the fuck are we? Ashley, where are we going? Fucking just kill her. Kill her. I can't figure it out. Kill her. Let me shoot her. She won't let me kill her. I'm so lost.
Good.
Okay.
Well, I will cry. I'll cry so hard. Cry so hard. And yet, I'm gonna eat a brick if you keep singing that. I need your discipline. I need your help. I need your discipline. 'Cause once I start, I cannot help myself. That's it, chat. I'm covering all of Nine Inch Nails. All of Nine Inch Nails. It's happening. Anyways. How many songs do they have? So many. So many. So many. Sorry, Leon just had to get down with it. He's a white boy with a little bit of swag, busting it down sexual style. Don't worry about it. Open the fucking door, Leon! He needs a break. He has to relax every once in a while. Just letting off some steam. That's fine. Don't worry about it. $528 songs. Leon, no. Okay. I don't understand. There's 2 rooms. There is 2 rooms, chat. This can't... Hi, Chubb. How you doing, Chubb? Don't worry about Leon jorking it. There's 2 rooms. There's 2 rooms. There's 2 rooms. There's 2 rooms. No. No. No.
Don't leave me.
Shut up, Ashley.
On me.
God damn it. I'm so bad at this game. I can't believe... Ah! Can you believe 2 people have raided into this? 2 people have raided into me being this bad with all of the fucking... all the people. And they brought all the people. I mean, Grey Hat came here from Kinky. Grey Hat has watched me.
Stay back.
And their opinion of me so far is me walking back and forth between rooms, and that I have a nice voice. Kinky Mint. Go check out Kinky Mint. They're a fantastic streamer, and please go check them out. Give them a shout out. Also, Milk Tea. Milk Tea's people have been here. And, you know, I hope they're having a good time. Hello.
Welcome. Got a selection of
In the shadows where black and red collide, Gene's voice deep roll like thunder, my anchor, my chaos, my warmest light in the dark. When he yells at games, it's like a storm. But when he softens, telling me and chat to take care, I hear more than words. I feel the weight of his heart reaching out. Without him, I'm drowning, sinking deeper into a night with no stars, no laughter. Endless silence. He's more than a flame. He's the ember I cling to when everything fades. I like that. Good writing. Good writing. What you buying? Everything. I've seen footage. All right. Upgrade.
Try that on for size. Anything else I can help you? Thank you.
Word up, it's a cold word. No matter what you're doing, you know it's Duck and DJ who think they fly. There's got to be a reason, and we know the reason why you try to put on those act real cool. Hi, Yoru. But you got to realize that you're acting like fools. If you use it, we can... Or if you use it, we can... No, if you lose it, we can use it. Damn it. I can't remember the lyrics now. Feel free to dance. We don't have no time for psychological romance. No romance, no romance, no romance for me. How can you tell me what's the word? Now word up. It's a code word. And she's dead. She just broke her legs. She snapped her ankles. The bones are now going septic, and she's dead. Oh, the raccoon had to go outside. They needed to touch grass. Fine shit. Oh, Jesus. I do not know the song Angel by Massive Attack. It sounds cool, though. Maybe I'm the one who is a schizophrenic psycho, yeah. Maybe I'm the one who is a schizophrenic psycho. Well, thank you so much for the Wadim. Oh my god, Jet, look, it's a weak point. Anyways. Alright. This seems like a very stressful situation. We're gonna give Leon a chance to de-stress real quick. Anyways. Relax, Leon, it's fine. Ow. Jesus! Stop approaching me so quickly. Oh, you're approaching me, Jojo. Don't tell me to stop jorking. I'll jork it all I want. No. Oh my god. Well... Gene said jorking got expensive. Yeah, it is expensive. Ah. Shit. Run away. Jork it. Oh, shit. Jork it. Shit. Jorking to a certain ominous. Exactly. Now you just got a jork. Does he seem quiet to anybody else? He's just a little quiet. No, yeah, he himself is quiet. Like, the rest of the game is fine. I feel like he's just quiet. We'll return the whole... Yeah, no, it's just the way it is, apparently. Okay. Ow. Jork. Let me underneath you, man. Maybe I'm the one. Maybe I'm the one who is a schizophrenic psycho, yeah. Maybe I'm the one. I love when he kills his homeboys. Maybe I'm the one who is a schizophrenic. Let me kill you. I have this song stuck in my head and will never leave. Down you go, baby girl. Aim for the lurk. Oh, a date. Good luck. I hope you have a good date. I hope you have a good date. Who are you going on a date with? La na 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 na. Maybe I'm the one. Maybe I'm the one. He's single as hell. I have a date. No, you don't. Shut up. No, it will not. Hellfire, desire. I feel her in my skin. Beata Maria, you know I am much purer than all the other face licentious crown. Maria, why I see her standing there. Da 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 da. Ow! Hit the wrong button. Na da 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 na 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 na. It's not my fault. I'm not to blame. It is the gypsy girls whose faith that starts this flame. It's not my fault if in God's plan He made the devil so much stronger than a man. Beata Maria. La da 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 da. I keep missing that one. Oh, it's because... Wait, did I get it? Oh, yeah, I got it. Of course I got it, chat. Nailed him. Maria, you know I am much purer than Wait, is there a part 2? Oh my god, there's a part 2.
I'm getting sick of your shit.
Coin-operated boy sitting on a shelf. He is but a toy, but I turn him on. And then he comes to life, automatic joy. And that is why I want a coin-operated boy. Made of plastic and elastic. He is rugged and long-lasting. Who could ever ask for more? Love without complications galore. Many shapes and weights to choose from. I could never leave my bedroom. I would never cry at night again. Or at my heart. Damn it, let me reload! Ow. Oh yeah.
I'll give you a holy body.
Hi, Sweeper. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Da-da-da. How you doing today, Sweeper? There we go.
Ada, what the hell are you doing?
Nothing personal, Leon. An arrangement.
How dare she? How
Don't worry,
dare
I'll
she?
take care of it.
Rude.
Ride's here.
You
You coming?
I think we both know this. It's where we go our separate ways.
I've seen footage. Do 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 do. Women skate, women scary. Chat, don't talk to women. Chat, if you're a woman, raise your hand.
Better get a move on.
Chat, I'm gonna need you to raise your hand if you're a woman, please.
Cute.
Until next time, Leon.
Dar, ban them. Ban the women. Ban the women, Dar. Just kidding. Kidding. Don't ban the women. I like the
Where's she
women.
going?
Who knows?
I don't understand. Why would she just...
Welcome, Bad Sweet Tooth. Chat, I'm sorry, but you don't realize that I'm an incel, actually. So, I'm gonna have to ban all the women here. Oh, God! There's a timer. Oh, shit. I have a pistol, chat. We got this!
Okay, let's get out of here.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, sorry. I know there's a timer. I am half tempted to end the stream. Actually, do you think this is gonna take more than 10 minutes? Do you think it's gonna be more than 10 minutes before the next save? Ah, fuck it. We'll try it. If we do fail this, though, this will be when our stream ends.
We can go home.
We're not out of here yet.
I'm gonna get lost. All right. Well, isn't that lovely? Shit. Here we go, here we go. Woman gone, life simple. Open, open. Come on, help me. Why are you just standing there? Why are you watching this happen? There we go. Right, wife. Life good. Fight, wife. Hit, wife. Wife dead.
Not bad, Ada.
The water scooter key. Beast wife. Hello, Sav Salad. Welcome, 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 welcome. Thank you for the follow. Nice footage. Wife dead. Regret. Think about wife. Oh, we can accelerate. Might be. Might be, chat. Ah! Ah! Hi, hi. I like your emo. It has a color scheme I enjoy. Woo! Thank you for the hydrate. Berry blue. Cheers, cheers, cheers. Brother, may I have some oats? No, brother. The tall, skinny man has given me the oats. Brother, you must share the oats. Brother. I see butter. I am starving, brother. I will do a dramatic reading of that eventually. Ah. All around me are familiar faces. Ah. Ah. Worn out places, worn out. No tomorrow, no tomorrow. Well, I think it's kind of funny. We did it.
Sure, that was insane.
Yay! GG's. Don't worry about the clouds coming out of my mouth.
Mission accomplished, right?
Mission accomplished. This is the end, right? There's not more of this game before I'm like, oh my god, this game was so great, guys. Because this game was great. This game was great.
Don't mention it.
You know, I could put in a word with my dad. Have you assigned to my detail, if you're interested.
You don't need me.
Don't be emo, Leon.
Yourself. Even if you could use a lesson in knife safety. Come on.
Sorry, chat. I'm just gonna. Incredible, 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 incredible.
Do you read me? Come in.
And then they get swept up by a rogue wave and die. Why is EA Games opening?
Where are you? Come on.
Hello, TNT. How you doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, we did it, chat. We did it. And just in time. Just in time. Because I got to go to work in 4 minutes. Woo! Congratulations, everybody. We made it through. I hope you all had a lovely, lovely time today. Even with the weird titling of the streams and stuff. No stay. I don't have a choice. I'm sorry, chat. If I could stay, I would stay. But I have no time I can take off. And I need that cash money. Unless you all want to start paying for my rent. But this was so much fun. This was so much fun. Don't worry, though. There's another stream today. Be happening at 4 p.m. MST. We will be playing Date Everything. We'll be playing Date Everything. It's clingy time, though. I know. Employment sucks. It's good, though, but it sucks. Thank you for the follow. So we'll be playing Date Everything later today. If you like the game Date Everything, come on by. How many hours till that? I can tell you if I look in the Discord, actually. 1 second. Everything, it will be in 11 hours. Yes, 11 hours. So for now, we are going to find somebody to raid out to, and I think the dear, lovely Leah Pantera. Yeah, so if you guys want to go to sleep now and wake up later, you can come see me later. I think the Leah Pantera should be on currently. They just came back from vacation. Yes! Panthera. They're playing a really interesting looking game. So we're going to raid into them, okay? They are amazing. They're very, very fucking cool. So I want you all to go over there and be chill, have fun. Let's give them all of my love. And be kind while you're there, okay? We're gonna do a little lucky raid. Boop, 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 boop. Alright. Go say hi for me. Y'all be good. And, oh shit, there's stuff happening. We'll see if we can finish this off real quick.
Patch me through. I've obtained the amber.
Excellent.
Let me mute her in the background.
Just one question. What are you planning to do with this?
We do not pay you to ask questions.
Oh my god. Oh my god, the raid's about to finish off. Hopefully we can finish off this before the raid goes. Come on. The timer, we're halfway through the timer.
May live.
Oh no.
I am expediting that.
Wesker.
So...
Almost.
We're talking millions of casualties.
Billions.
Come on, come on, come on.
How ambitious.
Come on, come on, come on.
We're changing course now.
All right, bye, lovelies. You'll be good. We'll see you next time. Have a good evening in 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.